I should clear my throat before I start. All right, I just finished my purging my closet this morning, and I was going to move the camera and show you the finished look of that one shelf, and then I pushed the button off. So it ended abruptly. Sorry. I'm not going to do anything. And then I downloaded it, uploaded, and I forgot to edit it. I mean, I messed up. But it's good. And watch it. And I just counted how many t-shirts I got rid of. 62. That's only one shelf. That's horrible. No, it's good I did it. All right, I have this new idea. Because if you just are talking and recording, I'm not getting anything done, right? And I thought, I want to finish this and get it out of my room and go put it back over there where it belongs. And it doesn't take very long to do it, and it's a mindless job. You don't have to count or think. So I thought, while I'm doing this, I could tell you what I want to tell you next, because I have something to teach you. And you may not agree, and it might be good for younger people than for us older people, because we probably already know it. Because we're experienced, and we paid attention, and we learned. All right, when I was growing up, my mother always said, pretty is as pretty does. In other words, we were being brats, and then, I'm sure she was thinking, you were being ugly. And so, we wanted to be well behaved and act pretty so we could be pretty. And then I grew up with my dad, and we would watch those Miss America shows. My dad was so cute, and he had 4 daughters, and the 2 sons. So he always told us daughters, we would watch the Miss America and those shows on TV back then, because you didn't have many choices. You had 2 channels. He would always say, oh, my daughters are so pretty. They're going to be Miss America someday too. Dad, getting our hopes up as a child. No, we're not. Of course we're not. But it gave us self-esteem. If you say things like that to children, kind of gives you self-esteem. Now, we've all heard also the saying, beauty is in the eye of the beholder. That could be my topic for today. Also, beauty is only skin deep. There's all those sayings, right? But my main one was, my mother always said, pretty is as pretty does. Okay, so I want to talk about this a little bit, because this is what I've learned in my life. Now, one time, my daughter, Emily, I'll show you a picture of Emily. I haven't showed you a picture of her yet. And I have a picture right here. Okay, here's a picture of my daughter, Emily. She was born in 1984. And here's my 2 daughters together. And they're 4.5 years apart. Emily is the first, oldest, 4 kids, married, lives, I won't tell you where she lives. And she's a real go-getter. She's PTA president and everything. And then Hillary, she lives in my town, and she has 4 kids, married. And she is a dental hygienist, secretary in the dental office. And then Emily's a beautician. And she tells me everything I'm doing wrong with my hair. And what I should do, don't use dollar store dye, hair dye. Mom, go to Sally's. It's too much trouble. And then here's my cute baby son. He was my baby son, Tyson. Isn't he cute, man? He was born in 79. I don't know how old that makes him. And he had 4 children too. But I'm going to get sidetracked, because Tyson, when we moved out here, he was 15. Well, he went to say goodbye to his girlfriend in Oregon in a very memorable way. And 2 months later, we heard she was pregnant. 15. That poor boy. So he got married at 16 and became a dad. And I always have to feel so sorry for him. And he said, Mom, I was just a little boy. And I woke up and I woke up and I found out I was a dad, and I'm still wondering what the heck happened to my remote control car. He was like those commercials where the teenager dad had to get pregnant, you know, married so young, and he had always had a job since he was 15, trying to provide, and but now he has his own construction company. He is in Michigan and married to a beautiful girl, not that same wife. But anyway, he was my little boy that weighed 9 pounds, 3 ounces, 22.5 inches long. He was a big old baby, and but I only had 2 hours of labor with him. But anyway, I digress, and I'm not getting my crocheting done. So I was walking with my teenage daughter, Emily, the first one, and I was complaining about something, about my looks or something, and I was complaining about my hooded eyes, and she goes, well, you know, Mom, they could fix that easy. You could go in and get that fixed. And I'm thinking, yeah. And then I could go in and get my nose. My nose needs to be a little smaller, and I have this hook on my nose, kind of like my mother. It needs to be up a little. And of course, you all recognize and know this. And I need veneers because I have this one tooth that needs to be hammered back a little. And then the boobs, that needs help too. And then the stomach, I could use a liposuction tummy tuck. Then we could go down farther, inner thigh. They need to do something about that, not to mention this. And then you could go down. My knees are good. That is true. My knees are good, and my feet aren't too bad. But anyway, I said, where would we stop if I start getting something done? It would be enough to feed a third world nation. So no, I'm not going to pay money doing that. And then what if I died on the table? So anyway, I'm thinking, you know, some people are lucky and they're born beautiful. Not very many people. If you sit at the shopping center and just watch people, there aren't very many TV beautiful people that you see walking around. I don't think my town has any. Well, they do, a few. Not me. But anyway, so those movie stars that get plastic surgery to fix these little issues we all have, then they have a child. Your child's going to have your nose and your same problems. Are you going to pay for your whole next posterity generation to all get that fixed? So if you don't want your child looking like you, sure, go get plastic surgery. But it's probably they have to keep up with their job or something. I don't know. Anyway, I think a lot about this and what we look like. All right, I've noticed. The people who are born beautiful, that is just lucky. That is nothing, it's nothing that they accomplished and did for themselves, right? And you look at two beautiful parents, and sometimes they have ugly kids. And you look at two ugly people, sometimes they have a beautiful child. And sometimes, my sister always said, if an ugly and a beautiful get married, then they're going to have beautiful kids. I just hope that my children would be cuter than I was, and I think they all are, so I'm happy. And my grandkids are pretty cute, too. So, I look at, in my era, I love the Bee Gees. Because I just think they are talented, and they're brothers, and they sing. Of course, two of them are dead. There's only one alive now. But Robin Gibb, he was the homeliest one of the bunch. And I felt bad to judge him and say that. But, our minds kind of think if people are pretty or if they're ugly. Well, I always thought he was kind of homely. And Morris, the twin brother, he was cute. And then I happened to think, though, he is the most talented of the group. He wrote the most songs and harmonized beautiful. So then it made me realize, no, all beautiful people aren't the talented and the best ones. There are ugly people that are very talented and very, gifted. So I changed my mind about that one. And we need to realize that. It's not just the beautiful people that have all the talents, right? And then, have you ever met somebody? Like one time, I'm a teenager, and this lady, and she had one little kid, and she moved in church. And her husband was real cute, but we always thought she wasn't very cute. Why do you marry her? But then we got to know her, and she was so fun and funny, and talented. She played the piano, and oh, we just loved her, and she just became beautiful to us. So hasn't that happened to you before? You get to know somebody, and all of a sudden they are just beautiful, which goes along with my sayings. Pretty is as pretty does. Beauty's only skin deep, and beauty is in the eye of the beholder. We need to teach our teenagers all of this, you know? So I have notes here because I don't want to forget any of my talking, visiting. Oh, there's that song, if you want to be happy for the rest of your life, never pick a pretty woman for your wife. Because this is what I found out in life now. And maybe you guys can relate, unless, you know, and this isn't everybody in the world. There's always exceptions to every rule. All right. I knew this one guy, and he met this girl, and she was beautiful. The big eyes, the luscious lips, perfect nose, you know, blonde hair. She was just beautiful. And of course, he fell in love with her right away. And so he married her. And then he found out, he didn't go with her very long, but then he found out that this beautiful woman expected a lot because, and here's what I found out, those beautiful cheerleaders and stuff in high school, they didn't treat their boyfriends very well because they always think, I'm beautiful, I can find any man I want. If you don't treat me right, I'm just going to go look for another one because I don't have any trouble catching a man. And so you better treat me right or I'm going to dump you. Well, that's what happened to this guy. So she required all this attention because, you know, she's so beautiful. She wanted him to bring her flowers and cook her dinner, and she wanted him to clean up the dog poop in the yard, but she also wanted him to spend the day with her. So he couldn't please her. And he said, everything I try to do, I just can't please her. And then she would threaten divorce, and it's my house, and she wanted to kick him out. And he said, I just can't live like that anymore. And so he had to leave and divorce her. He was going to go nuts. So sometimes I think beautiful people are not normal. Those beautiful girls who think I can just get another guy, or even the beautiful guys who think I can get any girl I want. I can treat them like SHIT because they're going to treat me good because they want to keep me, so I can have my way and do anything. So I think that you need to go with the person long enough to know their real traits. You want to find somebody that treats you good, like my husband. He might tell me I look like a nutcracker. Go back and look at my other video. He might tell me that I'm starting to look like his grandma, but he does treat me good. He made me breakfast this morning, and he's not feeling well, and he still did that. And he treats me good. So it's how people treat you. When I was single, and, you know, I'm a praying person. I prayed a lot. Do you pray? I hope you do. Because prayer does work. And it makes you feel not, if you're alone and you can pray, and you're not alone then. Talk out loud, pray out loud, and it helps you. And I'm a praying woman, and so when I was single with 6 kids, and I would pray for, if it would be thy will, that I would meet a kind, nice husband. I didn't care what he looked like. I just wanted one that was nice and kind and not beat me up and not, you know, be so mean. Some people are mean. I didn't want a mean one. So I was single for a long time because I wasn't going to settle, and I wasn't going to just marry somebody to be married. I'm thirsty. So it took me a while. And so I finally waited, and I did what I like to do. So if you're single, continue what you like to do. If you like to dance, then go do that. If you like to grow a garden, don't wait and say, I'm going to wait till I get married, then I'm going to grow a garden. My husband's daughter never got married. She was beautiful and talented, you know, the one that got killed. Well, I admired her so much because she said, I don't care if I don't have a man. And she would grow a garden, and she would go places and travel and go to restaurants and eat out alone. And she didn't care because she said, it's my life. I want to live it. If I don't have a man, I'm still going to reach my goals and live to my potential. And that's what you need to do if you're single. And don't be sitting home depressed. Nobody wants to marry a depressed person. So you got to get out there and get some interest in life and get some hobbies and don't be a fake. I knew this one lady. She was single. She would put a fishing pole in the back of her car and drive around so men would see the fishing pole. I didn't know she liked to fish. I never knew she went fishing. Don't be a fake. And I always said, just be who you are. Because if they marry you thinking that you are somebody you're not, then, you're going to have a miserable marriage. All right, so do what you like to do in your life. And that's how you meet people with the same likeness. I love to write letters. And so when I came to that personal ad, I was doing it mostly answering the personal ad because I liked writing letters. And there and behold, I didn't write to anybody else. I only wrote to my husband, and it worked out for me. So keep praying and get out there and do what you like to do. And if you don't have a hobby, I feel sorry for people who don't have a hobby, because how do they fill their spare time? How do they feel rewarded, like accomplishing stuff, if you don't have a hobby? Now, I had a daughter-in-law, and her hobby was cleaning. That's good. You can have a cleaning hobby and be clean. Everybody's not an artist or a sewer or a crocheter, so find something you like to do, and that could be your hobby. Writing can be a hobby, or keeping a journal. Hobbies can come in a lot of different forms, but find something you like to do. My one daughter, they are big into sports and watching the games and stuff. Cooking. And then become good at what you'd like to do and go out there and do it. And then you'll meet somebody with your same interests. And that's what I have found out. So, I'm not lecturing. I'm just saying the things that I've learned in my life. This is another thing that's recent. All right, my one sister told me, because I'm doing my YouTubes, and I don't think she approves of it much. She said she could never do it. So then she said to me, Angela, you must have high self-esteem to go on camera and go in front of everybody. And, she's beautiful. She was always beautiful. I always grew up with the sister, the middle child, the one standing in the corner, on the sideline, wallflower, standing on the sidelines. And no one in my life ever told me I was beautiful. I'm not fishing for a compliment, so don't all of you write in and say, you're beautiful. One time I was single, and we had a trampoline, and all the boys and the neighbor kids are jumping on the trampoline. And they're old enough, they're 15 and stuff, So I was dressed up, and I was going somewhere to town, and the little neighbor boy, and of course, I was dolled up, and he goes, you look beautiful. I just wanted to hug that little boy. Thank you. His father must have taught him right. Mother must have taught him right. But, so I didn't, of course, my dad telling me I could be Miss America. I didn't get very old till I realized that was a lie. So anyway, I never knew I had self-esteem. My mother taught me to have self-esteem when I was a teenager because I could learn to sew. And she complimented me on that and told everybody, oh, she's gifted. She's such a sewer. And I got that Crisco Award for making pies in high school. But I didn't excel in anything else. I know I was supposed to be a concert pianist, but I never had lessons. I know I could be really good at it. And then people go, well, take lessons now. Well, that was when I had kids. I said, no, all my money has to go to my kids, and I paid for them to have piano lessons. But, I could feel it in my bones. Have you ever done that? You can just feel what you could be good at. A painter. I do dabble in painting, and I know I could be good at it, but I just don't take the time to do it because I don't know why. And my one little granddaughter, when she was little, her name's Autumn, and she loved me and would talk to me and spend the night with me, and she'd lay in bed with me and we'd watch movies. There's that one really, my favorite movie, An Affair to Remember, A Love Affair. And they had this one song, and it's a Beatles song, and it's, now I can't remember the name of it. But anyway, the little children in the movie, they do the sign language with it. And so we would always fast forward or rewind it and watch it over and over again. And there was a little blonde girl there, and I'd say, look, Autumn, that looks like you. There you are. And then we would sing that song together. Love you forever and forever. Love you with all my heart. That didn't even hit the tune. Love you whenever we're together. Love you when we're apart. Anyway, you could sing to little children and they don't care. They don't know if you're singing good or bad. All my other family sings beautiful, harmonized, everything. I didn't get it. Anyway, that's my whole life. I didn't get it because everyone, my brother, they're so smart in school. Everyone excelled but me. But anyway, so my sister goes, well, you must have high self-esteem. No, I don't have high self-esteem. I know I am good at a couple of things. I have a few recipes that are good. I can plan a party for a lot of people. I am low-key, so things don't bother me and make me nervous and anxious and, with the kids and the dogs. And I'm just a laid-back person, so that didn't bother me. And I take things in my stride and take things as they come. And if you have a whole bunch to do, do not fret. Just do the first thing that needs to be done first, and then the next, and the next. And don't get overwhelmed thinking about the whole big list and, things I've learned to cope with. I was a single mother for all those years with those kids. I had to learn to cope with it. My baby died. Nothing is worse than that. So, I'm not going to cry because my washer broke or I ran out of gas or I don't have any money. I'm not going to cry about that because we're all well and healthy and we have a roof over our head and you can't kill me because I owe you money. That's what I would tell myself. So I wouldn't really consider me having that high self-esteem in how I look. But I realize, I look in the mirror, I can see myself, I know. But if you guys, one of you came to visit me and you're in my house, or we're at church, or we're at the grocery store and we're talking, you're looking at me, right, in 3-dimension. Isn't that what it is, 3-dimension? And you're looking at me and how I am and how I really am. So why would I be embarrassed on camera? You're seeing me in it, the same. And I don't think people really are, you're ugly, so I don't want to be your friend. We aren't like that in real life. And I tell you all the time, I'm not perfect. I'm not doing things perfect. I don't edit. I don't rewind. I'm not trying to be perfect. I have my work clothes on today. My zipper was down a minute ago. And, it's reality of life, right? And so, no, my self-esteem isn't so great that I can do this. It's that we are all just normal, regular people. And I have the same problems as you do. You have the same problems as I probably do. We have messy houses. All our houses get messy and we have to clean them. And sometimes we don't want to get right to it. And we're going to get to it. And surely when it's perfect, nobody comes. It's when you need to do it. And then the doorbell rings and people come and they always catch you, not dressed or something. That's just the reality of life. And so I want people to realize that we're all human. And we got to be thankful for what we have and that we don't live in Ukraine, Russia, some of those places. We have nothing to complain about. Do you have a safe room in your house? that someone's going to barge in and you got to run to a safe room with the children and be quiet. We don't even know what that's like they do in Ukraine. We are so lucky. And even if you don't have anything, there's help out there you can get. And, you know, we're so fortunate living in the world that we do. You can always find someone worse off than you, uglier than you, poorer than you, richer than you. We're all just normal people trying to live and do good and make our life happy. Am I lecturing enough? So, the thing that gives me my self-esteem the most is my family. All those little grandchildren that come running to me and hug me, those little arms around my neck, or now they're getting taller than me, and those big boys hugging me, and they like me, and they call me, and Grandma. That is what gives me my self-esteem. And my husband that treats me good and loves me when I'm sick, when I was walking with the walker because I was a cripple. I had to walk with the walker for about a year, walking like a penguin with my necklaces swaying, and he still loved me. And he can't even tell the difference if I have makeup on or if I don't. He doesn't care if my hair is, disheveled. Oh, I'm making up words again. You know what that word is. So that's what gives me my self-esteem. And it should give you yours too. That we have people that love us and that care about us. If you don't, I suggest you find somebody, a friend. You don't have to have a lover, but a friend or somebody that cares about you, and be that person for them so they will care about you. All right. It doesn't matter what other people might think of what we look like, because everybody's looking different in the world. Now look, because I was visiting, I'm here, I'm at the end, I went all the way around. I'm so happy. And now I think I have enough to go one more row for my rag quilt. If you missed that tutorial about how to make them, you get your old sheet and you just rip it. Remember, I was poor in my life and I wanted a rug. And so it's because I lived in this house that had red shag carpet in the 70s. And it was in the 80s and it was ugly and dirty. And so I wanted to have a rug over the red shag that was so ugly. And so I learned how to do this. And you could too, because it's so simple. And it's just single crochet. And then you rip the strips. And then you cut them like this. I gave you a whole close-up look. And you get 2-inch strips. To me, that's perfect. And this one is not 2 inches because I didn't finish ripping it. Oh, good, I can show you how to do it. Now, you could cut them, but we don't have time for cutting. Because see, there's different kinds of fabrics. This is woven fabric, so it rips. Polyester fabric doesn't rip. So don't use a polyester, 100% knit polyester stuff. You got to use this that's rippable. And then you put them like this, the strips together. I showed you how to do it. And so, this is great. If you start now, you can do this and make Christmas presents with all those old sheets that are balled up, or the ones that don't fit your fat mattress, and go to that used Goodwill and pick out some good sheets, colored sheets. At my place, they're only $5. And, get a hobby going. Your life's happier. And then when you're done with accomplished something, you're just so proud of yourself. It doesn't matter your self-esteem. It raises your self-esteem because you go, look, I can do that. And I did it. It's not perfect, but I did it. Just get a big old hook. And, don't just sit around feeling sorry for yourself. You can do things. That makes you depressed if you're doing that. And I've been depressed in my life, let me tell you. And I had to go get Zoloft. And I had to go to therapy and counseling. And so there is help out there and there is hope. So You know, be proactive for your life and write it down. That is what my midwife taught me. Get a plan and write it down. And, you know, you're going to be happier then. All right, how long? Oh, I've talked for 30 minutes. I bet you guys think that I am just a talker, talking my husband's leg off. I'm not really. In fact, there's things he goes, why didn't you tell me? Well, I didn't like talking about. And so I don't really like talking. And after a while, my voice hurts. I get laryngitis. But I just feel a real need to teach people stuff and to tell them. And don't give up. And don't think that you have it so bad. Think about other people. Serve others. They always say the best way to forget your own problems is to go help somebody with their problem and to serve others. And that's true, because when you're thinking about somebody else, you can't think about yourself. So go volunteer somewhere if you have time on your hands, or help somebody. Go visit somebody that you know is alone. They need a visitor. Call them first, maybe. So those are my suggestions. And and then here's another thing I want to talk to you about. Now, I make these videos and I get wonderful comments, and people say, oh, you're so funny. I loved it. I'm subscribing for life to you and everything. I love it. Thanks. But then I watch these other people's videos and they have like 4,000 views for their one video. So I think, oh, I'm going to watch it and see what it is. I can't even last 5 minutes. They're boring. And then they, you know, it's like they're talking to, I don't know. It just doesn't hold my interest. I don't want to say bad stuff, but I just have to get out of there and go to another channel. Hope that's not like that for you with me. But I just wonder how those people that don't have a very good program, and how do they get 4,000 views? 4,000 people watched it, really? People must not expect much from something. But if it doesn't, one thing YouTube taught me, how many movies and on Netflix or whatever you started watching, you never finished it. Whereas when you rented a movie, oh, you watched it because you're paying for it. I'm watching the whole thing. But there were so many movies I start and I never finish. That's like those YouTubes that I start watching them and it's like, I can't do it anymore. I don't know how they get 4,000 views. And if I make people laugh and it's entertaining, how come I only get 200 views? Makes me wonder. So I just wanted to ask and I wonder about that, because I wonder. There's a song like that too. I wonder, wonder, wonder. Anyway, I'm not a singer. I just had music my whole life. And when you could tell when I'm doing this, oh, here she comes. Good, you're going to push the button. But at least I'll say goodbye this time. Have a good afternoon.